Good morning. It's 7:03 on this Wednesday, November 6th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. We welcome you. It is sort of a frosty morning out there, but not a whole lot of frost. The sun is shining, and maybe today's our last real good day for a little while. But we want to welcome you and thank you for joining us this morning, and thank Bob McDonald for joining us to talk about Cedarstone Bank of Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman, and thank you again for letting me join you by phone. I'm sorry I can't be there live with you in Studio B.
Well, we do fine on the phone, and of course, we always enjoy talking about Cedarstone Bank and the success that you've had over the years and all the things that's available. Plus, you're involved in the community. And let me say this: we were talking about pecans before we went on the air here. Got a call from, I guess it was Brenda yesterday. I didn't take the call, but at my house, she says we're down to 4 bags and bring us some more. So I'll see you in a little while.
Yeah, good. Come by and see us. We enjoy selling the pecans. We know it's becoming a holiday season when I see you come in the door with a big box. And I was talking to Brenda one day this week at her teller window, and someone was there buying 2 or 3 bags. So we're glad to be a part of it. Thank you for letting us be a part of it, Coleman.
Well, thank you, and it certainly helps a lot. I guess we need to talk a little bit about banking this morning.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's talk about a couple other things real quick if we can. First, Susan and I went to a dinner Saturday night in Murfreesboro, and it was an annual banquet of the Tennessee Aviation Association, and this is a statewide group, and Wilson County's own Deborah Ball was inducted into the Tennessee Aviation Hall of Fame. And a few years before, her husband John was inducted into the Hall of Fame, so it's nice to have a great Wilson County representation in that elite group.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a lot of, it's a big crowd, a lot of folks there, and a lot of folks from Lebanon and Wilson County were there to celebrate Deborah's honor, and we were certainly glad to be there. So congratulations to Deborah for well-deserved recognition. And then I think it was 2 weeks ago, Susan and I and some other great Wilson Countians were at an annual banquet dinner for the Hermitage. It's called the Hermitage Gala, and it's one of our, we're involved over there at Andrew Jackson's Hermitage, and
right.
So they have an annual gala, and Susan and I went, and we were there with some other friends who you know, and so Wilson County had a good representation at that. It was at the Omni Hotel in downtown Nashville. So we had a very good turnout and raised some good money for programming and operations there at Andrew Jackson's Hermitage.
Well, it's nice that you're able to be a part of some of these community organizations and to do more than just be the president and CEO at Cedarstone Bank.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's all part of it. You and I have talked a lot about Willie, my father. He retired last Thursday. It was his last day at the bank, and he's been banking for 70 years. He's 87 and a half years old, years young, I should say, and he and my mother Helen are doing great, but we're glad that he's able to take some time off and enjoy himself. But he would tell you, my point is, he would tell you that banking and community activities are one and the same. You really can't do one without the other. You really can't do banking without being involved. And so he taught me that, and so that's what makes the profession so enjoyable.
Well, you can't be involved in everything, or then you wouldn't even have time to do your duties at the bank. But you can pick some of those things that appeal to you and be make a real difference in the community. And I think you certainly do.
Yeah, well, we enjoy doing that, but I guess we run out of time. But
Well, we got time to talk about loans. I've noticed that there's so much building, construction, everything that's going on. People are investing a lot of money. Most of the time, when they do that with a loan from a bank.
well, they do, and we've seen a lot of really good economic indicators come out in the last week, Coleman. We saw where the Fed lowered rates by 1/4 percentage point last week. We continue to get good reports on employment, manufacturing, business investment. Employment remains at an all-time low. Home sales remain good, home construction. So we're really in a good economic environment, and that takes capital. And people and businesses who do that, most often they get their capital from a loan at a bank.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we've been so busy. We've been making loans to people, to businesses to buy equipment, and people to buy a home.
And before we go, just a quick reminder, you can also check free, have the Simply Better free checking account at Cedarstone Bank, and if you don't have one, you ought to.
That's right. It's completely free, Coleman, free checks, free online banking with bill pay, free ATM use anywhere in the world. So if you don't bank with us, please come see us. We'd be honored to talk to you.
All right, and if no other reason, come by and get some Lions Club pecans.
Exactly. Cup of coffee at the Cedarstone Cafe.
All right. Thank you, Bob. We'll talk to you next time. That is Bob McDonald, and that's it for Cedarstone Bank this morning. Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. 10:30 after the hour, and this is the first Wednesday of November, the first Wednesday, unless something drastically happens to change our schedule, we feature the UT Extension office, and we have the gentleman this morning from the UT Extension. His name is Lucas Holman, who's been here before. Lucas, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you again.
It's good seeing you. It's a nice, cool day. Nothing you can really do outside, so it's good to be inside that it's warm.
Well, how are things going with you? What's happening?
Everything's busy. I'll tell you, we're getting a lot of questions. Bugs are invading people's houses, such as the stink bug and the multicolored Asian lady beetle. The ladybugs, we call them. It's getting in people's houses, and they're just trying to find a good place to overwinter themselves right now. It's really hard to get rid of them once they get inside the house, unless you got a real good vacuum cleaner.
Well, what's your suggestion? I mean, you can
mainly just trying to. Yeah, you can. A lot of people are afraid to spray things inside their house because, some people have some negative connotations with some things. Trying to find where they're coming in, caulking those areas, and you can spray around the windows and the door frames with a permethrin type pesticide, and that usually they won't cross that. But now that it's cold, a lot of them are already in the house, and about the only way to get rid of them is to vacuum them up inside the house, which is fun.
But you're getting calls about that.
Well, I hadn't yet, but I've had people ask me in personal,
okay.
When I go to meetings, they're like, "Let me tell you about something." Well, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I get cornered sometimes.
Well, I guess being in the position that you are, Lucas, people feel free to ask you about almost anything.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that I have discovered over the years, and I know that the UT Extension Service, I don't know whether that probably wasn't what it was called in the beginning, but it's been around for a long time. And I believe they called this maybe a land-grant college in the beginning when the University of Tennessee started in Knoxville. And this is an extension of that, and over the years, it's just amazing, really, the wealth of information that can be shared with people.
And I think you said we're free information. I think a lot of people don't realize we're research-based information. So you've heard the term fake news, haven't you?
Oh.
I can Google how to get rid of bugs, and the first 5 or 6 articles are going to be fake news. We want to see something that's actually going to work, and there are some negative connotations with some of the things. When people say, well, how do I get rid of weeds in their yard? And they'll see some recipe involving a bunch of concoctions from their kitchen cabinet. Usually those don't work real long, but I wanted to hit on it. It's research based, so all of our information has been backed by scientists.
What's easy? I feel sure you can access most any of that through the internet.
Yeah, through the internet. We've got a lot of publications, so you can actually Google University of Tennessee publications, and it's a lot of our agricultural, family, consumer science, 4-H documents that a lot of the researchers do at UT. And we do have a lot of good partnerships with other universities for research. So, like if we were going into specifics like Rosette virus research, we do a lot of partnerships with Texas A&M, and there's some other big universities that University of Tennessee works with in trying to find some information on some of these subjects.
Have you participated yourself in maybe some of the research and
Not really, but I write a few things. So like right now I'm working on a publication with the University of Tennessee, and I actually work for Tennessee State University. So it's a partnership. So University of Tennessee and Tennessee State University. And the publication that we're kind of co-writing, me and a lady named Dr. Bumgarner, is on garlic in the garden. People need to grow more garlic, Coleman.
Well, since you brought it up, how difficult?
You plant it right now, which is crazy, and I'm glad that I brought it up because you plant it now.
All right, I'll tell you what, it's time for a break, and I got a feeling this is going to take 2 or 3 minutes. So
4 hours.
Let's go to our break. We'll come back and talk about planting garlic with Lucas Holman here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:14. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford and the Lifetime Brake Pad Guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's heavy out here as expected. 65 south here at Trinity Lane, trying to get down from the north Hillsboro Pike at Harding Place. They were moving a stalled vehicle a few minutes ago. Had traffic backed up. It's heavy now on 40 coming in through Mount Juliet. All that traffic coming in from Wilson County on 40 westbound here coming into Hermitage. Hey, get the lowest prices on most of your airline tickets. Smart Fares save you 70% off. Call 1-800-915-2544. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
This is Bob McDonough with Cedar Stone Bank. We know there are times when financial circumstances can be complicated for families and businesses, but we do not believe the solutions need to be. That's why for 15 years we've been delivering simple banking to our customers while still offering all services and products. We're thankful for our customers and the communities that we serve. If you don't bank with us, it would be our pleasure to visit with you and talk about how simple banking is simply better.
Cedar Stone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
And we continue here on this Wednesday. Lucas Holman is with us. Lucas, let me just mention real quickly here. I've tried to do this each day. The Lebanon Breakfast Rotary Club has a Veterans Day breakfast tomorrow, Thursday, November 7th, First United Methodist Church, and it's from 6:30 to 7:30. If you want to go, you can probably still call today and get your name in, and 615-504-0440 is that number. And then we have the other one that Liberty State Bank presents on Friday at the Ward Ag Center, the fairgrounds in the East-West building. That one begins at 8 o'clock, and you can call 449-4441 to reserve a spot there. Well, let's talk about let's talk about
Garlic.
Yes,
yeah.
Garlic. It
grows well in Tennessee, and I wish more people grew it because it's. We use garlic to repel and mitigate other pests. Really, nothing eats garlic, animal-wise. So people say, "Well, deer eat my garden." Deer don't eat garlic, so you may try that.
Now that's amazing. Hadn't even thought about that. No animal likes garlic.
There's a little worm that I've seen affect it. Some call a wireworm, but it's kind of rare. But I don't see a lot of insects or pest issues with garlic. But we eat it.
What if you wait till the spring? If you really messed up, will it still?
No, it needs to kind of get its roots established before we get real cold, because you can plant in the springtime, but the bulbs are going to be smaller. So we kind of always recommend planting between October and the first week or two in November, like I'm planting right now at home. I've got a few planted Monday night, and I'm going to try to finish planting some on Saturday. It just needs to kind of get established before we get real cold.
Mm-hmm. So that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
And I guess the same thing kind of goes. A lot of times we're told maybe if you're replacing or planting trees that you do it in the fall so
Yes.
that the root system gets established before spring.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of planting things, especially trees and shrubs, going into wintertime, because they start to go dormant. We need a lot less water, because I'm not a fan of planting a tree or shrub in June and having to water it every day. I'm a lazy gardener, so I'd rather go ahead and get it done in the fall and not have to worry about it. So I know it's crazy, but now is a great time to go buy trees and shrubs and get those things in the ground.
Well, let's get
before
back
winter.
to garlic for a minute here. It's good for people.
Do you eat garlic, Coleman? Do you like garlic?
A little.
Oh, no. All right. We'll keep talking about it then.
Do you?
All the time.
What's some tips here to have the best possible results in planting garlic?
I think there are two main branches of garlic. You have a hard neck and a soft neck. The soft neck garlics are what you see braided up at Italian restaurants and things, and then you see the hard necks that are not able to braid up. In Tennessee, we can grow either one. We're kind of in a transitional zone, so some prefer to be grown in like southern Florida, Louisiana, Texas, and you have some that grows well in Canada. Tennessee, we're right in the middle of all those, and we can grow any of them. But if they could plant it now, I think it would do better as opposed to planting it in the springtime.
All right. I know how to set out tomatoes. How do you plant garlic?
Now, garlic, you're going to take one bulb, and you're going to break open the cloves, and you're going to plant just the individual cloves about 4 or 5 inches apart, about 2 inches deep.
How many cloves are usually in a bulb of garlic?
8 to 14, roughly. So if you buy some garlic and you get 8 or 9, I mean, it's 8 or 9 heads of garlic you can have next year. Garlic rich.
And how long does it'll start to really grow in the spring then?
It'll start growing this fall, and you want to see it start growing in the fall, because a lot of garlic, which is crazy, is native to Russia, and it's harsher winters than we've got here in Tennessee. So it really prefers the cold weather. So it'll start growing in December, and it actually sends up some leaves, and you'll see it with frost and snow and ice. And then usually about April, it jumps out of ground more.
All right. And
about the second week of June, you'll start digging them up, and it's usually best to hang them somewhere to dry them out of the sun, somewhere like under a porch, and then they'll last for anywhere from 6 to 9 months.
Oh, okay.
So
garlic is like potatoes in that the finished product is underground, and all above ground is just the plant that helps it grow.
Just like an onion.
Yeah.
So it's all in the allium family, like onions and leeks and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So. Boy, how long did it take you to acquire all this? You're still learning, I'm sure.
Well, most of that I just made up. So I've been in the greenhouse and the horticulture industry since I was little. My mom grew up working at her sister's greenhouse, and she always took me to work with her since I was little. So we've always been around plants, my family, and it just worked out fine. Now my brother got another job. He's not a plant person, but I am.
What are there any other things people should?
Yes.
Okay.
Remove plant debris from the garden if you can. Tomato hornworm, cucumber beetle, and squash bug overwinter in old leaves in the garden. If you can, get that stuff off the garden, put it on your burn pile, compost it if it's non-diseased. Just get it off your garden, because a lot of these bugs that we have issues with overwinter in the garden. And it's good to turn the garden if you can in the fall.
You mentioned another word there, compost.
Yeah.
Is that a growing thing?
It is, and we see a lot of people using their scraps to make compost, and now is a great time to make a compost pile. So whenever you look up the word compost, you'll see people talk about, well, you need so many browns versus greens.
Yeah.
So typically you need 3 or 4, the ratio is 3 or 4 browns to 1 green. So browns would be like old chopped up leaves, pine bark, and then the greens would be vegetable kitchen scraps. And usually you need to turn it a couple of times before it actually works. And a good compost pile, you can get a big thermometer, should reach anywhere from 140 to 160 inside the compost pile. So it gets pretty warm in there, and that kills a lot of those bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have one in my backyard,
Yeah.
but mostly I put leaves there, and we put kitchen scraps.
Yeah.
And I don't know what percentage, but I have to confess I don't turn it like I should. But I have noticed how hot it can be.
It can be when you turn it over and it steams in the wintertime.
Or
that's
or
great.
just part it a little
Yeah.
ways down there, and it's almost like the heat rises out of there.
And composting is great. And I wish more people did it because we see a lot of these scraps going to landfills when they could, be a lot of good added amendments to our garden.
How long normally, if you're doing a compost pile and you expect to have results?
Probably the quickest we've seen is about 90 days. And that would be actually turning it probably once a month. If you've got a good ratio of 3 or 4 browns to 1 green, that would be probably about 90 days to 100 days, just turning it.
When we're talking about table scraps and this sort of
Yeah.
thing, but I don't think you want to put meat of any kind.
Meat and a lot of animal byproducts. They kind of discourage from that because sometimes it can bring in rodents. And we also worry about the cases of E. coli and salmonella and things like that because it may not get hot enough to actually kill that kind of stuff before you put the compost back on your garden. So that's just one of the issues, that they don't use a lot of meat and eggs and basically any animal byproduct.
What about eggshells?
Well, we see people use eggshells in the garden sometimes because eggs are made up of calcium and phosphorus. But I heard a researcher last week talking. I hear people say, I use eggshells in my garden all the time. It takes them years to really break down to a usable form for plants. So you can add them to your compost pile, but I would leave them there for a while because it takes them a long time to break down to a usable form for plants.
Well, eventually they are usable, but for a long time they're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
What else would you like to tell us this morning?
If y'all ever have any questions of me, and I think people forget that I'm here, and people will call me and they'll say, I'd like for you to come look at a tree, and I'll go look at a tree, and they're like, well, how much was that? And I'll say, I don't charge anything. And they'll say, what? So I think people need to use me. If you ever have any questions about diseases, bugs, if you have variety questions, like people will say, what's a good variety of, tomato to grow in Tennessee? And that's a very opinionated subject. Yeah. Everybody's got their favorite. I'm always willing to listen. You can drop by my office and we can chat, or people can email me, or they can call me. I'm just a free service provided. So I wish people use me.
Well, that's great. And as far as, I bet, civic clubs or meetings, anybody that needs a speaker?
Yeah, I do a lot of that. So like today I'm in Mount Juliet for a couple little programs, and I do speak at a lot of garden clubs around the county and things. So if any clubs needs a speaker and they're looking for somebody who's a nerd, that's fine with me. I don't mind to come speak.
Do you have any demonstrations or?
Yeah, we try to. I work a lot with the master gardeners.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the beds at the James D. Ward Ag Center. So you'll see we'll have a vegetable demonstration that's real big during the fair. We've got the Arboretum at Fiddler's Grove. We do a lot of the beds over there, and we've got a lot of various projects throughout the county. When we're talking about demonstrations and classes, I try to have a free, monthly class called a Lunch and Learn, and it's a brown bag luncheon, so people will bring their lunch, and then they come listen to me talk for 2 hours.
Where's this?
It's usually at the Ag Center. Today I'm having one at Charlie Daniels Park in Mount Juliet from 11 to 12:30. And if you want to come, most people just bring their Subway sub with them, and they come listen to me talk. Today's topic is gardening, what to do in the garden in the wintertime, winter tasks. So that's today's subject, and I'll have another one. We usually advertise them on our UT Extension website, which is wilson.tennessee.edu. But feel free to call us. We'd love to have you. These are free classes that we give, and wish people took took advantage of them.
When you do this, I would imagine you nearly always leave time for some questions to be asked. Yeah. And people probably have a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah, and which is fine. And a lot of the questions people have, they're usually carrying their phone with a picture on it. And they're like, what is this? Or what is this bug? So when they're carrying their phone toward me, I already know what's happening. But, yeah, if you see me out and about, I'm usually, if it's one of the lunch and learns that we have, use me. That's what I'm here for during the day. I need to keep this job, Coleman.
All right. Use Lucas. One other thing I might ask you. We got about a minute and a half left here. From time to time, we something comes in here that has something new or something infests us or that sort of thing. Is any problem along that nature right now?
Yeah, I will talk about a new bug that's affecting crepe myrtles that has been found in Wilson County called the crepe myrtle bark scale. Now, crepe myrtles are probably in most people's landscapes somewhere, and it's a scale insect that gets on the bark, and the state is actually tracking where it's at, and we've seen it twice now in Mount Juliet. So it was in Davidson County. It's kind of coming this way.
Well, maybe that wall at 109 will keep them from
that'll stop them. That'll stop them from coming to Lebanon. But I wanted to, if you see something weird, send me a picture. People can email me a picture because the state is tracking some of these things, so that way we know and we can come look at it.
Well, it is wonderful to know that this service is available, and if you don't have the answer, you have the resources to get it. That's what's so great. If I don't know it,
I know the people who know it.
Yeah,
so,
and that certainly means a lot. Lucas Holman, if people need to call you, the Ag Center. The UT Extension office's numbers in the phone book, if you still have a phone book.
I'll give it to you now.
Give it to me now.
615-444-9584. And they can email me too, lholman1@utk.edu. And you can email me pictures of whatever you got questions about.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us today. We always enjoy your visit. Appreciate what you do and your wealth of information that you're willing to share. Lucas Holman. That is part one of Coleman & Company. Keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:30. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota and Rental. They have Red Max. Complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It looks like there's been a crash here at the intersection of Mountain View Road and Murfreesboro Pike. Police gathered upon the scene of this wreck, 5800 block in Nolensville Pike. Crazy slow right now, trying to get out of Nolensville, coming inbound on Nolensville Pike up to Concord Road. Bumper-to-bumper traffic here on 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. The Widrig Law Firm has been voted the best attorneys in Middle Tennessee, handling divorces, adoptions, child custody cases. Call Widrig Law Firm today at 615-417-7800. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
The Pavilion Senior Living residents are inviting you to become their new neighbor. If you're looking for a sign to move, call us at 444-5556 to learn more about the details. Or go to thepavilionseniorliving.com for more information. Or better yet, just drop by 1408 Medical Center Drive right behind Tenova Hospital and see for yourself. You should move here.
Right now is a great time to step up to Exmark, the Mowers Landscape Pros Trust 2-to-1 over the next best-selling brand, for as little as $2,699. Line for zero radius turn quality. See your local Exmark dealer for complete pricing and finance details, and schedule a free demo today. Stop by Absolute Kubota at 1325 West Main in Lebanon, or call 615-449-6171.
This Sunday, the Titans are back at home at Nissan Stadium to host the Kansas City Chiefs. The award-winning Titans countdown happens at 11 a.m. Then voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, and Coach Dave McGinnis have all the action of Titans and Chiefs with a noon kickoff.
Brought to you by Absolute Kubota, Exmark, Bates Ford, Fakes and Hooker, Steamwell Plumbing, and the Jewelers.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Hi, everybody. It's Tommy Bryan. Tune in on Saturdays throughout the fall as Cumberland University's Phoenix takes on the very best in small college football. The Phoenix go on the road Saturday, November 9th, playing at Campbellsville. Kickoff at 3 p.m. Join me and Bob Lee Saturdays during the college football season right here on WANT and WCOR.
We are halfway through the work week and we're looking at a mainly sunny day, as this afternoon will top out in the mid-60s. As we get later into this evening, some clouds will start to push in. Skies will turn mostly cloudy with the chance for a few showers lasting through the overnight. Lows will bottom out in the upper 40s. That's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Nisa Lomax.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on a Wednesday morning. It's time to welcome Philip Heatherly to talk about Absolute Woodland Supply at 1325 West Main in Lebanon. Good morning.
Morning, Coleman.
Good to see you again. Always glad to have you, and appreciate you coming and tell us what's happening, and reminding everybody that your phone number is 615-443-RENT, R-E-N-T.
That's
and
right.
You are renting, aren't you?
We are. We're just talking about it. We've been extremely busy this week. I think everybody's trying to beat this upcoming rain coming in, this upcoming cold snap. So we've been extremely busy this week. The ground conditions are good, so all the earth moving equipment's been very busy.
Well, we talked about this quite a bit, and all my only question here is it too late? It's getting it to deadline, I think, but too late to get one of those aerators and do your yard.
You know, we had several of those out. We still have several of them out right now. So people are still doing a lot of landscape contractors are still trying to get all their aeration and seeding, fertilizing in. And so like I say, it really depends. You know, I know we're going to have a cold snap, but I think I saw the weather is going to warm back up some next week. So, you know, that's the kind of key is when it gets down, ground temperature gets down below 60 for a long period of time or extended several days in time. That's when you really start seeing your fescue grass kind of slow down, and especially the seed and germination rates.
Okay, so it's late, but maybe not too late.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
All right, but a lot of other things happening now.
There's a lot of things happening. Our pressure washers, you were just talking about that. They're still going out real frequently. You know, they're again heaters. We've rented the last 2 weekends in a row. All of our heaters have been out. So it's kind of people getting ready for weddings or events outside. We have those tent heaters that can kind of just warm up an area, kind of knock the chill off, knock the edge off. And then in the construction side of it, you know, when people get in there trying to hang drywall on a house, in a new house, then they'll have to get the room temperature up where they can put their mud and all that in there. So those heaters have been a popular item.
Isn't it great to be wanted, to have what people
to have what you need? It is great. It's very satisfying, and you know we always try to make sure our equipment's in great shape. It doesn't always happen. Things are mechanical. Things break, but we really do try to make sure the equipment's in the best shape it can be.
Well, I admire your work ethic. I admire the way you try to serve people, take care of their needs, and even sometimes question them maybe more than they want to be questioned to make sure you get the right fit for them. You got their interest at heart, and I think it shows. But business has been good too.
Exactly.
You did a good thing, 18 years ago?
18 years ago, yep. That's a good lead in. We are having a Customer Appreciation Day on Thursday, the November 21st. I think the times are from like 11 to 3 possibly. We'll have barbecue, and we love doing this every year, getting the customers and letting people know we appreciate it. You know, and we normally have a really good crowd, normally anywhere from 100 to 150 people come, show up. Depends on if the Middle Tennessee group comes, the Middle Tennessee Electric group comes in. We always like for them to come in, but when they come in, they roll in with those big trucks and they'll take up the whole parking lot type deal. But that's great. We really appreciate that. But, you know, I do want to tell everybody, invite everybody. You know, Matt and I both are very community-minded and oriented, and like I say, we don't just look at these as customers, we look at them as our friends and our neighbors, and we want to make sure that we let them know how much we appreciate.
Well, things have changed a little bit over 18 years. You don't have exactly the same lines of things to rent. Times have changed. You've changed with the times, but you really have a lot. There's just, when we say that I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Everything from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers. When you've got that, you've got something with just about everybody.
Exactly. And it's funny you say that because I did rent out the wallpaper steamer like yesterday, and the dozers are out right now. So we're everything in between is still there.
Well, 615-443-RENT. You also have your website, and I've been there and noticed you have what's available, and I think you have the price to rent
We
for
do.
4 hours or for a day, and you can rent by the day or half a day.
Yeah, and we've just updated our website, so please visit it if you haven't been there for a while. We have it quote unquote responsive now, and it's a little more user friendly and all. But we do encourage people to go to the website and check that out. And the prices on there. There's a lot of. It's a personal preference. I cannot stand going to a website to look up something and then try to find out how much it costs, and it won't tell you the price. You have to add it to a cart and do this. I just want the price. So anyway, that's one of my big pet peeves.
Right. I'm in a hurry. I ain't got all day.
Exactly. So I don't want to respond back and have to go back to my email. But anyway, but we make sure our prices are on the website, and I think that's just the adage of not doing it is, that way they have to call you. And I think if somebody's just shopping, they ought to be able to see the prices on there.
Amen. I agree with you, and I'm glad you do it that way. Yeah. Well, we probably have next week to talk about your Appreciation Day again.
Okay.
But it's you said
the 21st, Thursday the 21st, the week before Thanksgiving.
Right. Exactly. The Thursday before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us today, and hope you have a great week. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Thank you.
Philip Etherly, Absolute Rental and Supply, 615-443-RENT, and they're located at 1325 West Main. Lebanon Mayor Bernie Ash joins us now, my guest for part 2 here on Wednesday morning. Mayor, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good to see you. Nice to have you again. And if you don't mind, you being a veteran and our former veteran service officer, let's just mention a couple of breakfasts. And there may be more than this, but there's two people or two entities that really wanted us to help get the word out for them. And I've tried to do this, even though I didn't have time for them to come out and be my guest. But one is tomorrow. By the way, do you make a number of these, all of them?
I make pretty much all of them. And if you're a veteran in Wilson County and you want to eat breakfast this week, you can do it for free.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is. And my guys will show up too.
Well, you were in that unpopular war in Southeast Asia. And
yes.
You didn't get a lot of recognition when you returned, but you do get it now.
We do, and it's very much appreciated. And the Vietnam veterans, we had a tough time coming home. We're about over it. That's just 50 years. We had to get over it. But we are really thrilled the way that the troops are being treated today.
Yeah.
When they come home today, they get a great welcome, and we couldn't be happier.
Well, let me just mention these two, and if you've got any others, you can add to it. But tomorrow, Thursday, November 7th, the Lebanon Breakfast Rotary Club will honor all who served with their breakfast from 6:30 to 7:30 at Lebanon's First United Methodist Church, and the speaker is retired Colonel Jeff Davidson. They would like for you to make your reservation by calling 615-504-0440. And then the other one is the one that is done for many years by Liberty State Bank, which will be at the Fairgrounds, Ward Ag Center in the East-West building. And that one starts at 8 o'clock. And as they honor veterans and celebrate our country, the guest speaker will be Major Gary Ward of the United States Army. And you can call the bank at 615-449-4441 and make a reservation there. You got any others?
I've got some more. I want to comment on these two just a second, if you don't mind.
All right.
I'm a member of the Breakfast Rotary Club, and that is always a good breakfast, and they treat the veterans very well. The Liberty State breakfast, Major Gary Ward, he is a very unusual individual. He joined the Army as an enlisted man, went through all of the enlisted ranks, all 9, and then went to officer training school and retired as a major. Very sharp individual, and you'll be glad that you came to hear him speak.
You know where he lives, where he's from?
I think he lives in Mount Juliet, but his family's from around here.
Oh, okay.
So he's homeboy, and we're glad to have him back home and appreciate the things that he did. On Saturday, at the National Guard Armory from 7 till 11, the Vietnam veterans will have a pancake breakfast.
Okay.
So come out and enjoy that, and they'll be glad that you came.
I think in some of that money raised to do flags and maybe some of the memorials.
I think that particular breakfast may be for either Thanksgiving baskets or Christmas toys.
Okay.
Maybe both.
Okay. So, all right. But it is a fundraiser.
It is a fundraiser.
Pancake breakfast.
And you'll enjoy it. Cumberland University is rededicating the Maneuvers Monument on this Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning. They've done some work out at Cumberland and got a new gate out there, and they moved the Maneuvers Monument, cleaned it up and moved it. Cumberland was the headquarters for the Maneuvers. We had 850,000 troops during World War II come through Middle Tennessee training. So General Patton had his headquarters at Cumberland, and a lot of history right there. So you want to come out and hear that.
I was alive at the time, a little boy. I remember the maneuvers coming out at Centerville and Hartsville Pike.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of pictures from what took place up at Cumberland. They pretty much took over at Cumberland.
They did. I wasn't around that time, but very close to. But I've heard stories about the troops going up and down our main streets and all through the countryside. Parachute drops out in the country, and a lot of artifacts are still around Wilson County. They get dug up every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, we kind of pay more attention and get a little more excited about all of this at this time, prior and during Veterans Day and all the ceremonies and breakfast and all of this. And I'm sure some of the stories you veterans tell get a little bit bigger every year.
Yeah, we all become heroes when we tell those stories. Veterans Day is going to be topped off, too, with the Veterans Day program and parade. On Veterans Day, the program will be at the museum and Veterans Park by the courthouse. The parade will leave the fairgrounds about 10 o'clock. It's always a big parade, always a good time, so come on out and enjoy that.
All right, we'll be doing a program on that Friday, I believe, prior to, and then come Monday, I've got a couple special veterans that Dr. Stum at Cumberland has lined this program up, and he called me yesterday. He's not going to be able to be here, but he's sending a capable replacement, and one of these gentlemen is 99, the other one's 98.
Oh my goodness!
And I guess I don't have the names in front of me, and rather than butcher it up, I'll just let everybody find out. But they're going to be two special people to talk to Monday.
Yeah, they'll have some stories to tell.
Okay, we need to take a break, but before we do, you did have a meeting last night. By the way, are you through with that?
Yes.
Any big thing out of last night's meeting? A teaser here so people stay tuned through the break.
We started out by honoring the late Ray Travis Fakes. Ray Fakes, his wife, Bonnie Fakes, most people know them in Wilson County. Excuse me. They live on Carroll Bend Road. We lived out there for many, many years, and we're going to dedicate a bridge in the honor of Ray, and that we did that last night.
Okay. All right, Lebanon Mayor Bernie Ash is here. We got a lot more to talk about after this break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:48. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota and Rental Redmax. Complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. Absolute Kubota and Rental 1325 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still very heavy traffic here on 24. Trying to get up through the Hickory Hollow area as you continue to come in from Rutherford County. Looking good out of Dixon County this morning on 40 East up through Kingston Springs. Is it heavy? Yes, it is, but it's moving. Ellington Parkway at Spring Street, we saw a crash at that location a few minutes ago. Prince's Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken in Middle Tennessee. 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
This is Philip Etherly with Absolute Rental and Supply. Whether it's cleaning, painting, remodeling, or simply getting better organized, we have the tools and equipment to get the job done. Scaffolding, paint sprayers, ladders, power saws, portable heaters, temporary lighting, generators, hardwood floor staplers. From wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, Absolute Rental has what you need. Call 615-443-RENT. Absolute Rental and Supply. We have what you need.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan. Join me Friday at 6:30. Lebanon High Football takes on some of the very best competition, brought to you by Absolute Kubota, D.T. McCall & Sons, K. Maynard State Farm Insurance, Bakes and Hooker, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Wilson Bank and Trust, Dickey's Barbecue Pit, and A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction. Lebanon visits Oakland Friday, November 8th in the first round of the playoffs.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us, and our thanks to Lebanon Mayor Bernie Nash for being with us. Let's make sure we don't have a misunderstanding here. We've got some things Saturday, we've got some things Monday. The Veterans Day Parade, of course, is Monday, always on the 11th.
Always on Veterans Day, yes.
And then on Saturday, the Cumberland ceremony.
Cumberland honoring the maneuvers that took place here.
All right. Okay, back to last night's meeting.
Okay, one of the things we did last night was to approve the solar services and site lease agreement with Energy Source Partners. They're going to add some more solar panels out there that will help our, I believe, the water treatment plant during peak hours. So we'll help hopefully lower our electric bill out there some. So
okay.
That's a good thing going on. We also had a second reading to establish the water and sewer capacity and tap fees specific to downtown zoning districts. Since we started getting some restaurants out there, we've had to reevaluate our not tap fees, but sewer rates, because they use a lot more sewer than most people do. So we reevaluated that and worked on that a little bit.
Have you changed the rates yet, or is that still a work in progress?
We haven't changed. Well, we are working on changing the sewer rates for restaurants on the square. There's only one or two down there now, but we hope to get some more, and we think we are going to get some more. And since we haven't had restaurants down there in a long time, those sewer rates can be pretty high. So we're reevaluating those and looking at them again.
Okay, all right.
Okay. We also selected a counselor to it says to replace Counselor Chris Crowell on the Joint Economic and Community Development Board. But what we did was we put Chris right back in there. And Chris is doing a good job. We have two councilmen who are appointed to the JECDB, and Chris's term expired, and he agreed to go another term, which I'm grateful for. And
who, by the way, who is the other now?
I was afraid she was going to ask me that.
Well, that's something we don't hear a lot about, but of course we hear a lot about JECDB.
Oh yeah,
and I guess it's been traditional that the city's had two representatives.
Two representatives on there.
So anyway, one of them's Chris Crown. He got reappointed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll figure out who the other one is.
All
When
right.
I get back to work, I'm sure somebody will tell me. I'm thumbing through papers here.
Well, while you're thumbing there, let me ask you this. I've been going on 231, and on 231 South, there's a sign that says it's either inner or outer lanes closed starting the 11th. What's happening out there? That's a state deal, I bet.
On, you said, 231 north?
No, south.
South. Oh, okay.
Are they going to do some repaving?
They're going to be working on one of the bridges out there. On the bypass, they've had a bridge torn up for a while now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure you may have noticed. But I've had a lot of calls on that bridge. Yeah. What has happened out there is my understanding is that the original idea was just to repave it and take care of it. When they got into the bridge, some of the braces under there were in really bad shape, and they had to replace them. And when they did that, they had to go back to Nashville and come up with a new plan, and they've got that done. And they started on the outside and have run into the same problem. So this is going to take longer than we thought. So get used to that bridge being out for a while. So probably next summer or so before it's actually completed.
You're talking about the one on
the bypass.
On the bypass.
Yeah.
All right.
Then they're going to start on they've already started doing some preliminary work on North Cumberland.
And there's a bridge involved there too.
There's a bridge involved there. They're going to work on. Hopefully, they won't run into the same problems they ran into before.
Some problems. Hopefully, not the same kind. Okay.
Hopefully not.
All right.
No,
but that's probably going to be a while too. That there's just 2 lanes instead of 4.
Yeah, there's going to be some traffic problems out there. And before anybody pounces on the mayor's office, we don't really have anything to do with it. That's the state route,
state highway, and they call the shots. But I'm sure they cooperate as best they can with the local authorities. It's just one of those things that needs to be done. Okay, back to last night's meeting.
Okay, we approved a public-private partnership between Goodall Homes and the city of Lebanon to build a park on Cairo Bend Road. Goodall Homes is building several hundred homes out on Cairo Bend Road. They've started, but they haven't built any houses yet, but they're going to.
And now this, I understand, this is between Highway 70, Nashville Pike, and Coles Ferry Pike, that section of Cairo Bend. Okay.
Yeah, it's if you turn onto Cairo Bend off of Highway 70, it's directly past the railroad tracks. In fact, the park will be 16 acres that they have donated, butts up to the railroad track.
Well, this will be fairly convenient, especially for people to the west to access the park. Then, won't it? I mean, it's not that far away.
Yeah, it is.
It's a ways from 109.
That's a really growing area. I've got some election commission report the other day to how many people are in the districts, and the 6th ward out there has over 6,000 registered voters in it, which is over twice what most of the other districts have. So a lot of people out in that area, and it's a good place to put a park at.
Yeah.
And they're going to do a lot of the work on it, and of course they donated the land, and the city is going to contribute $1 million, which is far less than was brought up before.
What do you envision? Just kind of a thumbnail sketch of what people can expect there.
Okay. We have talked, and there's going to be a walking track. There'll be an asphalt walking track out there. There'll be parking on the inside of the park. We're going to build a playground. The playground's probably going to run roughly $300,000 or so.
Will it be similar to what's at the Don Fox Park?
When it first started, yes.
Okay.
It'll be a lot less. Don Fox now has a lot more money in it than when they started. And this park will grow, and things will be added later on. But we're going to start with it's going to take $1 million to get the parking and the things that we're going to put on the inside.
Sound like you're kind of going to crawl before you walk here.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's the way most everything's done.
Yeah.
We're not going to come in with $6 million and wham, there you are.
All right. But that's a work in progress. How is this something going to be started fairly soon?
Yeah, probably in the spring or summer. And hopefully this time next year we'll probably have it done. That's what I'm hearing. But it's just going to be with all the growth out in that area, it's going to be get a lot of use. And of course, the Don Fox Park, if you pass by there in summertime, it's covered up. Yeah. So hopefully we'll take some of the load off the Don Fox Park. And you know, we've built a park out on South Hartman Drive. It's not completed yet. They had a problem getting the rubber material that goes on the ground out there. There's a national shortage of that stuff. So as soon as that comes in, we get that ready, we'll open that park up. And what we're trying to do is create a chain of smaller parks, neighborhood parks, if you will, in Lebanon. And we want those parks, and they're going to be used.
Well, we'll get back to the meeting in a second. I just want to mention, as I think about it here, you've had the celebration, the ribbon cutting, or whatever ceremony you did for the where the courthouse used to be on the square, the parking
Yes,
lot there.
parking lot.
And that looks really nice, and you've redirected traffic a little bit, but I think the city's proud of that.
Yeah, the parking lot turned out extremely well. It's long overdue. When we got the square redone, it looks great, and the parking lot was stood out as something that needed a lot of work done on, and it's been done. It's done very quickly, and it looks good. All the drainage has been taken care of. You don't have to wade puddles and water when it rains to get to the square.
Right. Got a couple of minutes. Wrap it up, if you will, from anything else from last night's meeting we need to know about.
Okay, there was a budget amendment for the Senior Citizen Center, which you and I both go to quite often. Sandy, the lady who acts as a social worker there, had a stroke,
right? And
she's recovering, and we want to wish Sandy the best. But in the meantime, we're going to hire a temporary replacement for Sandy, and we needed about $3,000. So we approved that money for the senior citizen to take care of that. And Sandy was doing a great job helping those senior citizens with some of their social services needs, and we appreciate that. And
you got a minute for anything else, and if not, we'll talk about something else.
Well, we can talk about something else, because I'm looking at adjournment.
Well, by the way, I did thumb through my notes here, and I found the gentlemen's names that are going to be here Monday, and one is 99 years old, Dr. Gordon Petty, and James Bass, 98 years old. As I understand, both veterans of World War II, and they are going to be here, and hopefully we'll let them talk about their experience during that time. That'll be our Veterans Day gift to our radio audience.
I encourage you to tune in. You can learn a lot from these World War II guys.
And that'll be they'll be on part 2, 7:30 Monday morning. Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. It looks like you had a profitable meeting last night. We've talked about a lot of different things here this morning, but there's a lot to talk about in the city of Lebanon.
There is. We're on the move, and obviously growing every day. So this is the place to be.
All right. Well, Mayor, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Lebanon Mayor Bernie Ash, and that is it for Wednesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. And until then, I wish you a wonderful day.